Howdy, howdy. Let's talk about going rogue. If you know me very well, you know I don't go rogue very often. I'm about to go rogue on a doctor if we don't get some answers here soon, but that's neither here nor there, and I probably shouldn't make that public. I've never even met him or her because of these pandemic restrictions. I'm not even allowed in to the appointment. But it is still Tuesday, December the 7th. It's about 5 o'clock now, I think. Let me see if I can see the clock. 5:10. I don't often get the opportunity to make three videos in the same day, especially with the text going off. But Dad, I took a break between, what was the last one? Redefining Success and Going Rogue because I'd gotten several text messages, and Dad wants me to go on down to one of the restaurants and get something to eat. And that's actually the topic of this video, so I might as well make the video before I go. And you see I'm in the same clothes, and that's the whole purpose of batching videos, because once you get the tripod set up, the lights, if you're a lady, you do your hair and your makeup and you get the right outfit on, you can just bust them out real quick, and then in one day you've got all your videos for the week. I'm only going to get 3 done today. I probably need 5, well, maybe 4 for this week, because since I'm taking Mondays off, I only got Thursday, what's that, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get them posted. But if I get more done, then I'm just ahead. I could put them up. I could get them scheduled to go up on Saturday and Sunday, even though I won't be making them on Saturday and Sunday. So how am I going rogue? Well, I'm kind of AMA, which stands for Against Medical Advice, this whole trip. Even on this trip, I'm keeping in touch with my doctors through the Virta Health, and Dr. Mabry is, I have his cell number and his email address, and he always answers me very quickly. And Virta, you're only supposed to be under 30 carbs a day. I made up my mind before I got on the road. I was going to be up here with my parents. They have all these wonderful food service places. I wasn't going to argue about, can you eat that? Can you eat this? After so many times, you get tired of saying, I can eat anything I want. I choose not to eat this, because what was my decision question? Does it make the scale go down? That had been up until the surgery, what I based everything I ate on. But I kind of learned that weight is not the best indicator of your health. And at this point in time, spending quality time with my parents, with my brother and sister, nieces, nephew, whoever I can come across, and friends I haven't seen in decades, is more important than what the number on the scale says. And good news is I'm down from where I was when I arrived, but I'm up a little bit from a low I hit a few days ago. But I'm not worrying about the number, but Virta does want you to report it. At home, their scale automatically sends it to the app. Here, I have to type it in, and I'm staying within a few pounds of 220, even being very rogue this week. And what do I mean by rogue? I actually spoke with Dr. Mabry about this at my last appointment, which was before my insurance cut off on November 1st, so something like October 29th, knowing I was going to get on the road November something. I think we left maybe the 20, I may have left Fort Worth on the 21st. I don't have a calendar. Maybe I should put a calendar beside me on these things. I usually look on the phone, and I'm using the phone to film. Anyway, it was the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and I believe my last weight at Fort Worth on the official scale was 225. By the time I got here, on my parents' scale, it was 230, but Dad says it can vary. If you step on it 3 times, you'll get 3 different weights. So I try to pick the one that comes up the most, even though it will be different than the one at home. And then I got down to 218 and a half. 11 and a half pounds in a week is, when you're not trying, is probably operator error or scale error. And I think today was maybe 222. So that's lower than when I left home, and 8 pounds lower than when I arrived here. And I can see, because I am, Dr. Mabry, let me back up. Virta sends you for blood test, and they did a urine test this time too. Every, I guess, 3 months or 6 months. But anyway, the time came up while I was up here, and I was still in my. Apparently, you get 30 extra days with them once your insurance ends. But I have renewed my insurance because I didn't want to be away from home. We're a hospital I could go to without insurance if I had to. But being up here and mom being in and out, I didn't want to take a chance of something happening to me and not having coverage. So I did renew my Cobra after I got up here. I did it on December 1st, but I ended up having to pay for November and December, which seems kind of poopy since I didn't use it at all in November. Well, actually, they might have a few payments to make because Verta wants to get paid. What I call Naturally Slim, which is now Wonder. That's another mindful eating thing I'm supposed to be doing, but I got so many courses going right now. That one I'm not keeping up with. I also have my Ready to Relocate and my AMP with Dr. Hardy, and I didn't even get AMP's thing done from this past Friday. So I got to get that done tonight, but I also have, not tonight, sometime this week, before Friday, before the next one comes. But I also have that replay, which I mentioned, of the virtual influencers. Got a replay tonight and a whole 4-hour session tomorrow. And they're too good to miss. But so how am I going rogue? Okay, back to that. I had an appointment with Dr. Mabry. I think it was October 29th. I wanted to make sure I got it before. I thought my insurance was going to end November 1st. All of these are calculated decisions, so don't feel sorry for me. I didn't lose insurance. It was part of my benefit with the city. And I told him I had been increasing my carbs throughout October because of the surgery. And as a hunter or somebody that does animal based, not so much carnivore anymore, but animal based, and going with the remembering from Dr. Saladino, all these doctors are Paul. That's quite interesting. There's a Paul Mason in Australia. Paul Mabry, Paul Mason, Paul Saladino. I'm sure there's other Pauls out, but I guess a lot of Pauls go into doctoring. But anyway, I told him I was adding bread back in, and I was told no, that's the wheat is basically just a chain of sugar. So once you start breaking it down, it's all sugar. I was told that low carb vegetables would be a better option, but I'm a carnivore because I don't like vegetables, but I do like bread. So here I've been eating, on the road here, I've been eating still some bread. I cut back on it when I can. Like the other day, yesterday, I think we got McDonald's and I got 2 quarter pounders with cheese. I ate the first one as is and I ate the second one without the top bun. Just cut it up and ate the patty and the bottom bun. And the cheese, of course. So that's a minor thing. But my going rogue is when I'm not fully listening to the doctors. But Dr. Mabry also added this caveat. He said, well, you've never technically had an A1C 5.7 or above. So you probably have a little more leeway to add carbs in than somebody who has had a high A1C, HbA1c, which that is a indicator of where your blood glucose was over the last 2 to 3 months. So it's kind of a long-term indicator of what your fasting blood glucose is every morning. And yeah, my fasting blood glucose has bounced a little bit on this trip, but it's basically staying under 100 unless I eat a whole lot of carbs right before I go to bed the night before, and I haven't been doing that. But mom and dad have gotten a freezer full of ice cream they bring home as their dessert when they can't eat it all. So I have been eating ice cream. I love ice cream, but I hadn't been eating it on this way of eating. I don't think I had ice cream since I was up here last year. That's not true. I did buy a half a gallon. Actually, when I went to Christ Chapel and we went out to lunch with Dr. Oden's class or small group or something, I ordered a dessert, a cobbler with ice cream because I was in the mood for a thing about ice cream. When I saw that it was $8 for a darn dessert with 1 scoop, I went out and bought me a half a gallon at Aldi for like $1.99. the next day or the next week, next time I felt like I wanted ice cream, and ate that. So that was probably 4, 5, 6, 10 servings. I don't know, but it was only $2, not $8 for a single scoop on top of a piece of cobbler that they said was peach, but it was really more like cherry or apple. We weren't quite sure, but it definitely wasn't peach. So I'm being rogue this month, the end of the year, the start of winter, when most of our ancestors would have been eating fresh fruit to fatten up for the winter. I'm a little bit off schedule. It should have been probably October when I started, but I'm just carrying on. But January, I'm going to get very strict. Doctor, oh, back to Verta sent me for blood test. Yes, I don't have it here in front of me, but my HbA1c had gone up 1/10 of a point to 5.6, still under 5.7. When I sent that off to Dr. Mabry, he was kind of like, well, you're eating too many carbs. The Verta doctor and my Verta coach are like, well, that's kind of within the, what do they call it, margin of error to only go up zero point 0.1. So basically, they aren't worried about it. They were more concerned about the cholesterol, which they always are. But at least they say, well, you need to talk to your local doctor, which is Dr. Mabry, and he and I, and even Dr. Nelson at JPS, are in agreement that I am not taking statin drugs. Dr. Westman, in his cholesterol course, he's been talking about cholesterol a lot more here lately because they're offering a cholesterol course. And I heard him say in one of the intro things that if you've had a stroke, then maybe statins are helpful. I have had a stroke, but I don't feel statins are helpful, and I'm not taking them. If I went, and I may at some point, if I move to this area, try to get an appointment with Dr. Westman, as long as the insurance, he's on the insurance I have at the time, or I can just pay him out of pocket, either way, and kind of ask him those kind of questions. Because even though I've signed up for some of his courses, you don't get one-on-one time. He's in the chat sometimes, or in the Facebook group, and he may answer you, but you don't get to ask him specific questions because he is not your doctor. And Dr. Mabry was the same way before I drove up there. He can't answer questions over email unless he has that client doctor-patient relationship. So I'm glad I took the time to get that, because he has come through in the pinch in Branson here. He's still monitoring me, even though he kind of told me I didn't need to come back. I think he thought I was concerned about not having insurance. But I have renewed that, so now I can go back and see him anytime I want, and he will be paid in full with my insurance. So basically, I've gone rogue because I healed for a year, and a month or two, although not good, I think the good is to be not arguing with my parents and not to have that extra stress while I'm on the road, which will be about 6 weeks. So everything in my life has a purpose, and they're fitting together. Maybe not exactly how I planned them, but I thought about it before I did it. So I'm not doing anything to endanger my health, but I am eating things like pizza, ice cream, cake, and pie that they have at every meal we go down. Fortunately, there's only one meal per day, but I could show you bags and bags of Cheetos and Doritos that have been brought back because they're a side item you get, and if you don't eat it all, you bring it home. So I definitely have anything and everything available that I'm not supposed to eat, and I am eating it, but I'm also eating it, as my Verta coaches say, mindfully. I'm aware I shouldn't be eating it, but it's my decision and my choice to go ahead and stray from the diet. So that's what I consider being rogue, and I'm going to continue until I get home. It's challenging to eat. I don't have a drink over here. I'm getting a little scratchy throat, so I guess it's time to stop. So I don't think my rogueness is doing me any harm, long-term harm. Yes, it is affecting things this month, but isn't that what New Year resolutions are for? Except I actually am going to stick to mine like I did last year. I got down a total of 50 pounds at some point last year, and I will get back to that. But that's not my primary goal right now. My keystone goal has transferred to making this channel successful so I can share into you, give into you things that will help you with your health. I'm not going to sacrifice my health for that, but I told one of the coaches I'm kind of like a human guinea pig for my followers. That since I've gotten out of metabolic syndrome and I'm not at high risk for becoming diabetic, I can experiment a little more and tell you what happened. So I'm very glad they did the blood test and it wasn't. Thank goodness for that pause button. I went and got a little bit of drink. Nothing on my blood work was out of the ordinary except for cholesterol. And like I said in the last video, I don't worry about that. And LDL, I've read one study, or maybe heard it from Dr. Paul Mason in Australia, that those with the highest LDL live the longest. So I'm going to live a long time because I'm getting that LDL up there where you can see it. Kind of like my waist at the moment. You can see it, but we won't see it this time next year unless I'm back up here and indulging in stuff I don't normally do. Praise God. God bless. I'll talk to you next time.